Through the last year of pursuing slow living, something I have been learning the hard way is the importance of slow growth, not rushing the process of change. There's a temptation, I think, when you realize that you aren't the person you'd like to be, to try and reinvent yourself overnight. And while I do think there are valuable changes you can make quickly, to truly create a new life and a new way of being takes time. I've always loved the new year and the chance it brings to start fresh, but what about when you don't have a list of goals by the 31st? What about when your vision needs to be more flexible, when your fresh start comes slowly and over time? In today's video, I want to share some of the ways I have been practicing and embracing a slow reset during this chapter, making changes over time, finding goals along the way instead of forcing them, and focusing on who I'm becoming and how my life feels rather than what I want to accomplish. Over the last few weeks, I have been kind of just easing into the new year, and it has been so lovely. It is still very much winter where we live, so I feel like we're kind of still in hibernation mode, which has brought a lot of time to just reflect and rest. Today, I figured I would chat to you about some of the ways that I've been kind of doing this slower reset while we actually go through the process of getting some things done. Peaceful productivity. One of the overarching things I'm focusing on in this chapter, and especially through the reset process, is creating space. Margin is a luxury in a world that's constantly rushing, and it doesn't always feel practical or even possible to slow down. I have found that if I wait for stillness to find me, it probably never will, and so I'm trying to find ways to create space for pause in normal moments of my everyday life. I'd love to tell you that this looks like sitting down by a snowy window with a cup of tea and a journal on the daily. There are certainly times where that's the case, but in this season of life, margin looks a lot more like being okay with not getting it all done and moving through everyday tasks at a slower pace. It's a lot of letting go of expectation. I've also been trying to create space in my environment to let my brain just rest or wander or process what's happening around me. So, for example, I love having podcasts, audiobooks, or music on while I'm doing things, but at least once a day, I try to get something done with nothing else on in the background and just kind of see where my brain goes. Sometimes it stays absolutely blank and I'm just exhausted, and other times I find that, there's actually something on my mind I haven't paused long enough to notice and acknowledge. I feel really passionate about slow living, and I think I've been guilty of maybe overemphasizing some of the romantic parts of it. The aesthetic and the bread and the Pinterest-worthy photos. I got a comment a while ago from someone just sharing that they felt like in a busy, stressful economy, they couldn't relate at all to that aspect of things. And it made me think a lot about how and what I share. This year, I want to be better about sharing the less easily Instagrammable side and more of the slow living while cleaning the kitchen and changing diapers and feeling overwhelmed with work and life commitments. That is my reality just as much as everything else. And if I'm romanticizing anything, I want to romanticize that. I started the process for my 2025 vision board probably November, so I've been working on this for 2 months. I've never done that before. I've always scheduled myself a little vision board night when I just kind of sit down and I go to Pinterest and I find photos that represent the goals I want to set, and then I make a vision board from that. But this year, I kind of did the process backwards, and I am obsessed with it. Before I even sat down to set any goals, I opened up my Pinterest, I made a new board called 2025, and I went to my home feed because I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes Pinterest knows the workings of my own mind better than I do. And I started scrolling through and saving anything that just struck that deep chord inside of me where I was like, I feel this in my bones. This is how I want to feel in 2025. I saved a ton of photos, and then I went and started to look through them, and I started asking myself, okay, what is it about this photo? What stands out to me here? Why did I save this? So for example, I found myself saving a lot of like motherhood related images, a lot of moms just holding their babies, looking at their babies, doing all these different things. And I realized the thing that all of the photos had in common that I was really drawn to was how engaged they were. Of course, a photo is just a photo, but in these images, these moms are locked onto their kids. They look so incredibly present, and that is what I want to be as a mom. I really want my kids to know that when I am with them, I am with them. And so from that emerged one of my big goals for this year, which is to continually become more present. Rather than creating goals and then making a vision board, I'm making the vision board and then pulling my goals from it. This is a bit of an experiment because I've never done it before, but so far I have been really enjoying this method, and it's been so much fun to kind of see my vision for the year slowly take shape. Right now, we are in the middle of a polar vortex in southwestern Ontario, which means it is flippin' cold and snowy, but it has also been so beautiful this week. One thing about me, I love a snowy, sunny winter. When it is cold and the sunlight just hits the snow and like everything is so bright, it is maybe the most highly concentrated dopamine hit I have ever experienced. Last year I started sharing on my Instagram a series I called Free Things That Made Me Rich This Week. And different weeks I would just sort of track as I go through the days and take note of things that felt like deep privileges that didn't cost a penny. Kind of an offshoot of that that's been evolving for me this month has been taking time to find little luxuries during my day. Things that feel like this is the life. So a couple of days ago, this was like, I took 5 minutes out of my afternoon to just savor a fresh cookie from the oven, drink a hot cup of coffee, and listen to my audiobook. Oh my gosh, it was so delightful. And today I'm taking just a few minutes to just sit here in the sunshine and just breathe it in, exist in it, soak it up, because it's gonna get dark pretty soon. While my reset into 2025 has been slow, there have also been some pretty stressful, intense things already in just the first few weeks of the year. Still in the middle of some of that, still coming down from some of that, and it has just felt really good this last week to take like just a couple of minutes every day to just enjoy myself and enjoy the moment that I'm in. Even if my schedule is jam-packed and I feel really overwhelmed, I can usually carve out just a few minutes, and that fills me up in a way that I find just keeps me going through a lot of the chaos. So I think I'm gonna keep this practice going. Also, if you watched my last video, you may have caught the significance of what happened right before I sat down, which is that I finally organized and bagged up my donation pile that has been sitting by my front door for literal months. If you know, you know. You've probably seen it in the videos. I've been avoiding it for absolutely no good reason. She's now in the car. We're halfway there, half the battle is done. Probably the biggest change in how I'm resetting for this year is that I'm not actually trying to reset for a whole year. I am absolutely dreaming about 2025 and where it could go and who I want to be in the future, but I have learned the hard way that setting specific goals too far in advance is often counterproductive and sometimes actively unhelpful. I'm really focused right now on this specific chapter and on taking things a month or two at a time. Right now, that means my goals are mostly focused on organizing, decluttering, and simplifying my life in every way that I possibly can before our sweet baby joins us in April. Clarifying that focus has been really helpful for me in terms of prioritizing the goals I set, just having realistic expectations for that. Earlier, I shared with you my goal to be more present this year, and I also wanted to share with you my other big goal for 2025, which is to continually become more peaceful. I'm entering motherhood and I'm going to be juggling new things that I never have before, but I also want to look at it as an opportunity to just really clarify what matters, just to become a more peaceful person in and through all of it. Those are the only big goals that I'm setting for this year. I do have some other things that I'd like to do, but for the time being, those are the things I'm focusing on, and everything else kind of falls under that umbrella. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit out of my posting schedule, but I decided to put it up on a Friday night because Friday nights are often my stay-at-home self-care, unwind, just rest and relax kind of nights, and I wanted this video to feel like a cozy Friday night. You're sitting on your couch unwinding from the week video, so hopefully that came across. I would love to know any ways that you are resetting for 2025. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you, and I'm really excited to continue sharing with you lots in 2025. Stay tuned for Declutter with me coming very shortly to my channel. And yeah, I hope you have a good day because today's a good day to have a good day. That's it. Bye.